Hey guys, and welcome to my first video on the Victis Empire channel. I'll be your host Liberate or Autistic Clown in the game, and today I have an interesting video for you guys. So I'll be showing you guys a deck that one of my clanmates have been using, and we can say that he is very special with it. It is in fact Juandoe with his 5.6 elixir deck, which includes the Wizard, the Dark Prince, the Elixir Pump, Inferno Dragon, Giant Skeleton, 3 Musketeers, as well as the Rocket. Then he'll be teaching us the basics of how to play his deck, and joining me to help me out, is my other clanmate Dimitri, and he is also a decent player if I say so myself. Dimitri, please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Dimitri from Victis Honor. I play on the CRL and RPL team, and I would consider myself a solid cycle and control player. I will be co-hosting you guys for today. I would like to have a warm welcome for my friend Juandoe. He is my teammate on the CRL team, and he is the team captain. He has been acknowledged multiple times by the casters in the CRL for using these unique decks, and has really gained a following, and many people are beginning to know who Juandoe is. Welcome.
Hello, my name's Juandoe, and I am the CRL captain of the Victis Honor team. My specialty are heavy decks. Anything above 5.0 I can totally use. This deck I chose in particular because of, let's just say it started with the Cards Against Humanity bet that got a little bit too serious, and it's been working for me ever since I started. I mean, this got me from Arena 7 all the way to Legendary.
Alright, so just to show you guys how this deck works, I'm going to get Dimitri and Juandoe to play against each other. So when you're ready guys, please request.
Okay, you can host.
Aye, Captain. Yeah, I'll host. Alright, sending the request right now.
So let's jump into the game.
I have to ask, why do you always say the Battle from the West? I noticed that in the CRL.
It's just a theme that I've always had. You know, this whole Western showdown.
Yeah.
There's a nice flow to it. So normally, if I don't have anything good, I would just cycle through, and I see you playing the Ice Golem, and then in response, I play a splash card to deal with all that clusterness that you have.
Alright, so just saying that Dimitri's on the top and then Juandoe's on the bottom, just letting you guys know. And yeah, and Dimitri does in fact take the first tower, but Juandoe plays an Elixir Pump at the back.
Normally I don't worry about losing a tower. If I lose a tower, I just don't worry about it. Just play as I normally play.
Alright.
Normally I try to stall, and it's used to doing the same maneuver again, so I anticipate by using a rocket.
Alright. That was an easy play, I guess.
So I noticed you do a lot of split pushing, and how does that work for you?
Normally it's pretty effective since it focuses your attention on two sides, and they usually end up overcompensating for one side or the other.
So
but
you
normally,
Go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, I mostly rely on my split pushes.
So do you rely on them to make mistakes, or?
Yes and no. Right now at the 1 minute mark, which normally gives you time to catch up. But the one thing about this deck in particular, I'm really bad against hog cycle decks because they cycle just too quickly for me.
Alright, so if we look at Juandoe's profile, we can see that he is currently at 4,200 trophies, 2,300 legend trophies, as well as that his highest score is 4,445. So quite decent, I guess.
And
yeah,
he
so
does
now we just
donate a lot.
What a nice guy. Alright, so let's just watch some of his replays.
Normally, I really like playing against minors since they have this tendency to be pretty predictable. This one, he isn't as predictable as I wanted him to be, but it's still okay.
Okay.
He's trying to divert my attention to that side, but I don't normally fall for that. I just let him take the tower. That's usually what I do, is just be as cool and collected as possible. And it usually works out for me.
Okay.
Alright. So the key values that my deck has is that I would need my opponent to overcompensate for my pushes. And usually it's pretty successful. He gets one hit in, and that cancels his push out. He starts off with the furnace, and they're really annoying since each furnace is equivalent to one fireball to the tower.
Yeah, it's super annoying, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So you start chipping away, and then I respond by destroying his furnace and getting... No, I did not get the hit off. But normally, with the plant that I have, I normally try to get him to bait out the miner. I have the Dark Prince in play, but he didn't fall for it.
So do you place it in the middle so that both towers can shoot at them, or is it more predictable for you?
It makes it easier for me to predict his movement. It's a 50-50 chance of either going to go left or right. If we were to place it behind the tower, it's a 33% chance that I get it right.
That's true. And do you wait until you see which way his trail is going, or do you just pre-plant?
I wait to see his trail is going. Like, I don't really have that much time to react.
Yeah.
Here at the 60-second mark, I have the advantage. Now I'm at double elixir, which means I can get my pushes off a lot faster.
Oh, that Dark Prince
That's the
shield was
case.
huge because none of the damage got off on him from the spell.
So obviously your deck is quite expensive, so you can't cycle as fast because every card is obviously quite expensive. How does your deck do against the meta that is meta right now, that is really filled with Hulk cycles and minor zap decks, minor side control decks?
With minor zap control decks, I try to manipulate it so they play on my terms, which is normally getting them to attack my pump, getting them to do the chip damage I need them to do. I just manipulate them to where I have the advantage.
And then
As
against
for Hog Cycle,
Yeah.
And then as for Hog Cycle decks, it's a lot tougher since they can cycle a lot quicker. My key way of dealing with them is to offensively shut them down, hence the needing for the rocket. Because not only does it shut them down, but it also kind of lets them know that they're not gonna. They have to plan their pushes carefully.
Okay, and yeah, so you should be able to take this game. Yeah, good. Okay.
And now,
So-
for Goblin Barrel, what do you like to do to counter the Goblin Barrel?
Nothing. The best thing to do is nothing. If I have enough health on the tower, I just let him take the damage.
No,
But if they were to place it,
right.
at a weird position, like have all three goblins on one side, yeah, sure, I'll take the free barrel and counter it with either a Dark Prince or a Wizard.
Now let's say
Okay,
that they
so-
play the Miner before the Goblin Barrel. What do you do about that?
If I know he has both the miner and the goblin barrel, I just wait it out and have a rocket ready for it.
Right, that makes sense because it's equal trade.
Yeah.
Alright, so from that replay we can see that, Juandoe's deck is actually legit, and it's not like he just threw some random cards together. As well as looking at his opponent, he's not the best of players, but he's certainly a decent player. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, this deck actually works, and yeah, let's get into some more replays. So Juandoe is playing against Lewis from the clan Impeccables. That is quite humorous, I would have to say. And yeah. So Juandoe, do your thing.
Alright, I first play the pump. I try to get that defense. I try to get that momentum ready. I see he plays the Mega Minion, so what I try to do was go for a prediction hog, but that backfires on me horribly. Because then he plays the graveyard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay, so I don't think you'll have that tower for much longer.
It's gone.
And as well as your pump. I think that zap, was that zap unnecessary from him?
Well, it was unnecessary for him, but at the same time, there was a little bit of necessity because it stopped me from getting that extra elixir. He traded one elixir for me to not get an extra elixir.
Yeah, your prince also managed to get his charge hit off on the tower.
Right. That was big. Any damage you can.
So just then you played a minion horde, and you had a wizard in your hand. Why did you play the giant skeleton instead of the wizard?
I needed to stop the ice golem from getting to my tower and doing the area damage, since it slows it down, and I would have taken more damage with the ice without the wizard. Plus, also you have to consider I had a level 8 wizard, and it could effectively kill a level 11 minion horde. He had a level 12, so yeah, my wizard was outclassed.
Okay.
So was that pump placement in the back on purpose so that the skeletons would be drawn out?
No, it was honestly just so he's less likely to get to my pump. If I were to place it on the right tower where my crown tower used to be, it would have been easier to get at, because you could either use a minion horde or just fire spirits. So here, I'm at my advantage. What also helps is that he's never seen my 3 musketeers, which that totally screws him over.
Yeah, he's shocked.
This is when I start. Yeah.
Here comes
Because now he's
the train.
trying very hard to shut it down. The hired train's starting to build up, boys.
Look at the troops.
Oh my god.
Look at the
How much
push.
elixir worth of troops do you have?
7. That's it. Yeah, he's trying very hard.
Yeah.
He's just
Look at the elixir
can't
advantage.
comprehend what's happening.
He's ahead by 9.
Yeah,
9 elixir.
yeah. That's basically a textbook match for me. He just overcompensated a lot.
And he's panicking now. He's trying to get anything he can.
Yeah, I guess you have to be quite cool when you play against and with this deck. Even though Juandoe loses like the first tower, he still manages to 3-crown his opponents and come right back.
This is the only only game that's not a 3-crown.
Yeah.
Now consider he's also 2 levels above me, so I was already at a disadvantage being outclassed by his cards.
Yeah, definitely. Quite annoying that happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully you guys are getting an idea that this deck actually works. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's not some random deck that I decided to make on a Sunday night when I was completely hammered.
It looks exactly like that.
Random game. Yeah.
Dude, it looks like when you first start the game, you think, at least I thought that epic cards were better, and like expensive cards were better.
Yeah.
That's like exactly what this deck is. But he actually makes it work.
I remember serial casters were asking him if it was randomly generated.
Oh yeah, I remember that match. Yeah, Odin was just like, he just couldn't understand what was happening.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens a lot with your deck. Yeah.
What's your
Dimitri,
favorite part
you have
about
anything you want to
playing
ask?
heavy decks?
It's an unexpected deck to play. Like, you don't really think there's not really many known ways to effectively counter a heavy deck,
Right.
other than the person who's made the deck himself. He knows that deck in and out. He knows what would cause that deck to screw itself over. He knows that deck pretty well. Not many people know how to play decks above 4.5. That's usually the maximum that I see many people play.
And I'm sure lots of people have never even played against a heavy deck before, so that gives you a nice advantage right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of even what elixir average is the golem baby dragon deck that people play right now?
I think 4.0.
It's like 3.3 or 3. Yeah, 3.5 to 4.
So even with a golem deck, it's still quite cheap and cycly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say your main win condition card is, and what card do you rely on to offensively win?
Honestly, it really varies from deck to deck and what deck I'm facing. If it's a Royal Giant, it's just getting a Skeleton Giant out before the 1 minute mark along with the pump. If it's a Hog Cycle deck, it's getting the Skeleton Giant also before the 1 minute mark, along with having a Prince in my hand.
So would you say all the cards contribute equally?
Yeah. Like, I could also get an early win if I know the player either has fragile cards, like, say, the minions or the goblins or spear goblins, because I could do a regular Prince charge and then surprise him with a wizard.
And just out of curiosity, your deck obviously shines in double elixir. How did you do in the double elixir challenge that was out a couple of weeks ago?
My average win time was around between a minute and a half.
Oh my god.
Alright, so should we get into our third replay, guys?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And which one?
RGC.
It's the weedy one. Yeah.
So for this game, looks like Juandoe is playing against Weedy, and he is actually 2 levels higher than him, so Juandoe's already at a disadvantage, so let's see how he does.
Alright, I see a pump, I take the pump, and I'm gonna place it down.
Now
But
this looks really bad. It looks really bad right now.
Oh,
And it does.
The ice spirit getting a hit on the wizard meant they could be fireballed, right?
But it allowed the crown tower to get more damage into it.
Now, if I were watching this from home,
But-
and I didn't know you, I would think that you already lost this game.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't ever stop playing just because you're at a huge disadvantage. You just fight your way through it and hope you make something out of it.
Never will I ever rage quit again, because I know that maybe there's a chance.
You could pull something out of it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like after your opponent does a lot of damage to your tower, I feel like they get cocky.
Yeah.
At least some of the players I play against, they get really cocky.
Especially
yeah.
the Royal Giant guys.
Yeah, fuck me, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it wasted a total of nearly 15 elixir just to stop my elixir push. I mean, my push.
Yeah, right now you have a nice pumping advantage.
Yeah. I have about 4 to 3 elixir on him.
Okay, so he missed the fireball in the tower.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that was his mistake.
Now you do have
But I
a
realized,
3 elixir lead on him.
no.
Now, why did you not pump up there?
Because if I were to have the pump, I would already be at I'd rather have the giant skeleton in before the double elixir mark, because it allows me to build up a push faster than if I were to wait for the pump. So that's about 10 precious seconds that I wouldn't have if I were to have the pump
So
versus not having the pump.
just then you let the princess take like 2 or 3 hits on the tower. Do you usually just let that happen and just let her do her thing, or do you usually just take her out right away to avoid chip damage?
If I can, I will try to stop it, but sometimes the best action to do is nothing. Just let her do her thing, don't focus on trying to stop it immediately, because that ruins the flow.
So,
That ruins the flow of the push.
would you ever consider using Zap or Log just to get rid of the princess?
Nah, I mean, I can sacrifice a few hits from the princess if I can build a bigger push off of it.
Right.
Right. So looking at your deck, you do have. Wait, where's your deck? Right. So looking at your deck, you do have 3 epic cards, and as well as the Inferno Dragon, which is a legendary. Do you think the Inferno Dragon, like, what did you play before the Inferno Dragon came out?
I played with a regular baby dragon.
And then what made you switch to the Inferno Dragon?
Honestly, it's the fact that it was able to melt through tanks. Like, you could. One way people would stop my push is just by placing a tank and just letting him take the damage so they can build a counter push to it.
Right.
That reduces, with the Inferno Dragon, it reduces the amount of time that they have to be able to counter the push.
But you never used
Right.
Inferno Tower before, did you?
No, I would prefer being able to have a pocket Inferno Tower than one that stands still.
Right.
Right, and then you do have 3 epic cards in the Prince, Dark Prince, and Giant Skeleton. So new players obviously have trouble leveling up their epic cards. I know as a matter of fact, I do. Would you say that these cards are irreplaceable?
They can have temporary replacements, but it's gonna be really hard to replace the Skeleton Giant but luckily it's pretty easily accessible. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
as long as you have as long as you just have a Skeleton Giant, it'll work pretty well. The Dark Prince, I'd prefer to have him rather than say a Valkyrie, which is like a suitable substitute for it. But then you also lose its other benefit, the shield. If you were to play against any lightning decks, I'd normally predict a lightning spell, and instead of losing maybe all my musketeers or 2 of my musketeers, I'd end up losing 1 of them at least.
Okay, and then the Prince.
The Prince is just mostly my big stick. If I want to get a large amount of damage in, I'd use the Prince. I'd normally support the Prince with either a Dark Prince or a Wizard in order to get any necessary damage. If I were to also play against somebody who used a Giant or Golem, I'd use the Prince too. It's just a pointy stick for me.
So would you not use the mini P.E.K.K.A. instead if you didn't have the Prince leveled up high?
I would use the mini P.E.K.K.A., but also presents its own problems.
Right.
Because the mini P.E.K.K.A. is less tanky than a Prince. It does do a lot. It does a lot of damage, but it's less tanky. Its initial damage, DPS wise, the Prince. DPS over health wise, the Prince is more ideal than the mini P.E.K.K.A. Because you could fireball a mini P.E.K.K.A. and have your crown tower take care of it. But a Prince will survive a fireball. It'll survive a lot of things.
Good point.
So, yeah, just going.
Alright. I see that I have the pump, so my
Okay, give me a
first
sec.
is get that pump ready. Preferably when I'm at the 9 elixir mark, since I have the Dark Prince to counter a miner. And I'm already prepared just in case.
Alright. So you do let the fire spirits just chip away at your tower. That's all
Yeah.
part of the plan, right?
No waste
Yeah.
elixir.
Honestly, yeah. That was his mistake there. He just let me, he wasted a lot of elixir.
He put
About 2 or 3.
He put 10 elixir to take out the giant skeleton.
Oh, here goes the bomb.
Oh, but then you do have barbarians to deal with on the right side. Oh, but your Dark Prince should be able to do good.
Yeah. He gets his charge strike in.
Nice defense.
See, this is why I would prefer the Prince over the mini P.E.K.K.A. because it does a lot more it strikes a lot faster than a mini P.E.K.K.A.
Right.
That delay would have killed it.
Yeah, it does have his charge here as well. That's quite good.
Yeah. So I already have a pump down, and even though I'm at a slight disadvantage, I then instinctively play the Inferno Dragon against the Royal Giant.
Yeah, this is a good trade right here.
Yeah. I take a little damage, and I'm fine with that. But right now, what I'm trying to do is cycle through my, get my push condition ready, which is the Giant Skeleton, 1 Prince, and the 3 Musketeers.
Right. So there goes the giant skeleton. And
For the minute mark as planned.
Here comes the real Han.
There you go, the 3 Musketeers. I then get the Prince out, and now he has to deal with which side does he want to lose.
so split pushes are definitely how you like to, like take your opponent's towers down.
Yeah,
so that
I
they
take them
split
both
the
down.
Yeah. Well,
He didn't really much he could do at this point.
yeah, his one tower is down to 27. His other is down to 1500. So it's not looking too good for him.
And I get the hit in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a panic pump that I placed. I really didn't have anything to counter, so I placed the sacrificial pump.
Yeah, and then 5 seconds. You should be. Oh, you're gonna take the 3 crown. Alright.
Oh, I take it.
Wow.
So another 3 crown for Juandoe right there. I think that's three 3 crowns out of 4 of the 4 replays he showed
Proof it's not a
us.
fluke. Proof.
And then Juandoe, how many saying that you play 20 games in one day, how many of those would be 3 crowns and how many of those would be losses?
I would say maybe about 6 of those would be, at least 6 or 7 would be losses. Out of the 13 or 14 wins that I would have, maybe 4 or 5 or 3 crown wins.
Right. So you obviously said that you struggle against cycle decks, especially the hog decks, the hog cycle decks. Do you only
to correct that, I don't struggle with minor cycle decks since they're easy to manipulate since I have the pump. But hog cycle decks are very difficult for me.
Right. So, but you do win against these hog. Obviously, you probably win against hog cycle decks every now and then. So, what would you say is the best way to deal with hog cycle decks with your deck?
Smite them down with the rocket. Just smite them.
Alright, simple as that.
Yeah. You literally would want the player to worry about the rocket, because nobody really expects a rocket on a hog.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Force
And that way now he has to.
He's going.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because now he has. Oh, sorry. Now the
No,
player
no,
has to watch for the hog. I mean, he has not the hog. He has to watch for the rocket. So now he's gonna try to bait out the rocket.
Yeah. Alright. So I think that'll be that. Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
So with a new Electro Wizard coming out in a few weeks, do you think you're going to try to incorporate him in your deck?
I don't know. I'll try because he does have the neat zap ability, but at the same time, you're only gonna zap 2 targets.
Right.
And I preferably would want a card that has a lot more splash support.
Yeah.
And
Definitely worth trying out.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that'll be that. Just finally, you guys have anything else you want to say?
No.
Go Texas.
Don't try this deck at home.
If you can try it at home, you just have to be very well educated on how to be collective, cool and collective, and how to compensate for being twice as big as every other person.
Yeah, so basically just remember these 2 words, being collective and just
Good.
wait till your opponent overcompensates. So yeah, that'll be that. Hopefully you guys learned something with this deck and hope you enjoyed as well. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. And until the next video, we'll see you guys later. Peace out.
See ya.
Or not.